Wait. Oh, we're on? Hey! Is anybody there? No one's there. Okay, well, this is the first part of a couple videos that I'm going to show you how to make Chicago deep dish pizza. But first, a message from our sponsors. I gotta get my old man glasses on. Are you having issues or getting an erection in the bedroom? What? Oh, we didn't get it. That's embarrassing. My apologies. So let's first start with what we're going to do. I'm going to show you the first part of making deep dish pizza is we need to set up the dough. So what we're going to do, if you're thinking we're going to make the whole pizza in one shot like in this video, we're not. We're going to have to first set the dough up and do the mixture, set the dough up, and I'll break down the whole process. Basically, let me steer the camera down so we can see what I've got going on here. Okay, so I've done some of the prep work already. So the first thing we need to do is show you basically to initially do the dough. You need about 3/4 cups of cornmeal. So this cornmeal, it takes the most time to prep. So if I show you here, so this I've already run through my coffee grinder, and I basically ground it down. So this is what it normally looks like, just right out of the cornmeal. So you have cornmeal to initially set up the dough. Cornmeal, salt, sugar. We have yeast, yeast is really hard to find right now during this time. Hey, Javier. Oh, I can wave. Look, wave. I've never done that before. Okay. All right. Sugar, and we're gonna have. This is our mix of the 1 teaspoon of salt, sugar, and yeast when we initially set up the dough, and the cornmeal. So I've already prepared 2 cornmeals already. So basically I'm gonna be making 3 pizzas out of this, and I'll explain why I do 3 at a time. So creating the cornmeal is the longest process. So you'll need a coffee grinder or some other type of grinder that'll allow you to take the cornmeal and get it down more in a fine powder. So if you feel this cornmeal, it's gritty, and this stuff it's fine. So basically this will go, if you don't do this and you put it straight like this into your when you make your dough, you'll feel it. You'll feel it when you're eating the pizza. So this makes the dough a little bit more smoother. Don't skip this part. It is the most time consuming, but you'll want to put the time in and grind it down as fine as possible. Be careful with these that you don't grind it for too long, else you'll burn the motor out. So basically what I do, and for the sake of this video, what I usually do is I'll just take a couple tablespoons, I'll dump them in the grinder, in the coffee grinder like this, and then I will grind it, and then I'll keep checking on it. So I'll grind it for maybe 30 seconds, and then I'll look at it and kind of feel the consistency. I'll use a spoon to scrape the sides, but you can tell when you're comparing it to the cornmeal that's not ground and where you want to get it down to. So 3/4 cup of cornmeal, and I'll put all this ingredients in the comments. Tablespoon of sugar, salt. I think it's a 1/4 teaspoon of yeast, the fast rising yeast, and we'll be putting in the mixer. We'll be putting in a 1/4 cup of olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, and that's pretty much it to initially set that up. And we're gonna mix that up for about 10 minutes. So you'll definitely need a KitchenAid mixer. So for the first part, we're just gonna use this wheel, the spindle wheel, the mixer wheel for this, and then after when we start setting up the dough, we'll be using a dough hook. So what I do at this point, after I've spent all my time grinding, I'll take the ground cornmeal, I'll dump this in here, right? I'll dump the sugar yeast there, and I forgot we have 2 tablespoons of melted butter. Let me melt this a little more. So what I want to do is I don't want to put the liquid items in. I want to put them all in at the last time. So the last thing I have to put in here is 2 tablespoons of butter, melted butter, quarter cup of olive oil, and a cup of hot water, warm to hot water. So let me throw this in the microwave real quick to get this last bit down, and then I'll get some hot water real fast. And if you have questions, start asking. Hey, Nick. And then my mom's watching too. Let's get this last in. I'm just starting, just getting the butter pulled down. I'm doing the dough setup first. Then I got to get some hot water real quick, a cup of hot water. So we got a cup of warm to hot water. I throw this in here. So our mixture, let me just show you, it kind of looks like this. And it's gonna like turn like a yellow mix. So we're gonna mix that for 10 minutes. So Alexa, set timer for 10 minutes. Okay. All right, let me just turn this up. So after this is done, I've measured like 3 cups of flour. And what we'll be doing is once this is completely mixed, we'll put the flour in, and we'll slowly add the flour with the dough hook until the flour and the mixture is like completely mixed. And the dough will end up looking like a like a yellow type cornmeal type dough-ish color. But you don't want to cut corners and cheat on this process, because if the dough isn't set up right, it's not going to taste good. Let me get it here. It's not going to taste good, so you'll want to spend the time. One thing I forgot to add was the olive oil. It's okay if you miss stuff, as long as you're within that 10 minutes to get that all mixed together. So to go back over what I've already done, I basically took the cornmeal, 3/4 cup of cornmeal, and I ground it down to like a fine powder using a coffee grinder. Okay, so and you want to do that, else your actual dough and your crust will taste gritty, and that gives it a kind of a unique taste too. So the mixture between the olive oil, let me turn this down. The mixture between the olive oil, the butter, the sugar, the cornmeal, it's a really good taste. I've had people that have eaten it that normally never eat the crust. They finish everything because it is that good. And let me give you some background of why I started making this, or at least my the story of. So I'm from Chicago, and I grew up pretty much eating Geno's yeast, and toward my teens and in the early 20s, I started eating Lumanatis. When I moved down here, basically it was Lumanatis and Geno's yeast were my favorite. When I moved down here to Texas, there just wasn't any any Chicago deep dish pizza places that I could find, at least. There's a couple now, but I haven't gone and tasted there since I've been making mine. So I the first thing I did is I ordered one of those dry ice, like frozen ones from Gino's Yeast, and they sent it down. And after I heated up in the oven and ate it, it's like it lost a lot of its taste. I guess maybe that whole whatever their process of freezing it just didn't taste as good. So then I kind of went on a quest on the internet and in different like cooking forums to see if I can make the pizza. So what I did is I finally found, I was experimenting. It took me about like 12 times until I started getting close. What's really important is the ingredients you're using and how you set up that dough. So when you get the let me show you the mozzarella. You want to use. So when you're setting up your pizza, you want to use a fresh mozzarella. I get this at Sam's, and they always have different kinds. But what's really important is you want to use this fresh mozzarella, which almost looks wet. If you use the brick kind, like you can get at the store, it's too salty. It'll ruin the pizza. You won't be able to eat it. So I usually buy 2 packs of these because I usually use about 1.5 per pizza. So instead of wasting that half, I buy another pizza. I buy another pack of this, and I just make 3 pizzas all together, and I give some to my friends and family, or I just eat a lot of it through the week as leftovers. So this ingredient's important, So the next thing I do, so we won't be setting this part up today. Basically, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make the dough. We're going to knead it for like 5 minutes, and then it's gonna go in the fridge and sit overnight for the yeast to grow, and that brings out the flavor in the dough. And if you don't do that, it won't taste as good. And that's just from experience, from me experimenting with it over time. So the next important thing is so you're gonna have a meat layer, and depending on what you like in your pizza, what we like is I take this Italian sausage and I cook it and break it up, and then I also put pepperoni on it. You can obviously do whatever you want, whatever your preference is. But I for the sauce, I've been experimenting lately. So what I usually do is I take these these whole peeled tomatoes and I smash them down. I smash them down, and I put in some tomato sauce so it's a little bit thicker, and then I'll boil it so it's not as runny before I prep the pizza. Because if you need to get some of the water out of it so it's a little bit thicker. I haven't got the sauce where I'm like I'm happy with it, but I know I can do better. So now what I'm doing is I'm experimenting with Hunt's, with like a diced tomato type sauce, and then adding paste, and then sometimes I add different seasoning in it just to taste. But again, that's something I recommend experimenting on as a sauce, because that also is a big proponent of the pizza. So hey guys, Micah's on. Oh my God, Gertie's watching. I think I saw Leo Graff too. Hey Leo. Go back. So is it worth it? That's kind of like putting all this time, is it worth it? I think it is, because now I've got it to the point where I remember how it was. What I still want to experiment with is I'd like to see if I can figure out how to make the Lou Malnati's butter crust. I sent Kim the recipe, so if she's not making it, I don't know. So maybe this will inspire her. So I haven't found any good recipes yet how to make their butter crust, nor I've yet to experiment. So if you figure it out, let me know. So Alexa, how many minutes are on the timer? So 2 more minutes. Okay. Oh, let me show you another important thing. Okay, so I got these on Amazon years ago. And I just found another company that makes some. So I got these deep dish pizza pans. I think these were Uno's at the time. And I couldn't find these anymore. So I was able to find a third. Remember I told you I make 3 at a time, right? So I was able to find this third one on Amazon. So you'll need a deep dish pizza pan like this when you're ready to cook it. Well, we won't be cooking that until tomorrow. So once this is done, we'll get the next part going. That comment just caused issues with Kim. Why? You know she can probably see what you just said too, right? What's her response? Let's see. All right, so this is kind of my work area. Okay, so for people that joined late, I kind of went over some of the ingredients, right? And one of the key things that went to make this dough recipe is the cornmeal. Grinding it in a coffee grinder and not burning your coffee grinder out, getting it down to like a fine powder. And did I wash my hands? No. and putting that in your mixture. So, but I can send this out. I can send the recipe out to people that want it. I did wash my hands, dude. So, well, yesterday. Okay, so then obviously cornmeal. This right now, like getting a yeast, finding a store out here that has yeast, is I had to go to 4 stores and I got soaked. Yeah, because it's been raining out here. Careful. Another thing you want to notice. Remember, I brought up the using that brick mozzarella. If you get the brick mozzarella, Alexa, stop timer. If you get the brick mozzarella from the store and you use that instead of using that fresh mozzarella, it's too salty. And also be wary of the other ingredients that you add. Like I use no salt butter, and usually I use the sauce. I also do no salt in the tomato sauce, because if it's too salty, it's not, you're not gonna enjoy the pizza as much. So just be wary of that. So let's show you what this looks like. So. And we tilt this down. So now after we mixed it, right, it has a nice, let me move all this. I got too much stuff. Right, you guys see it? Nice yellow mixture. Okay, there you go. All right, so now we're ready. Now we're ready to change out our dough hook. Change out to our dough hook so taking this one off, right? And I'm gonna add the dough hook. And then we're going to put in about a cup to begin with. And don't rush this process either. You could make it faster, but then you make a mess. I don't recommend rushing it. So I'll put about a cup to get it started. Only rich people can hang their pots. Whatever. I wish I was rich. Rich people don't drive 20-something-year-old cars. So you can't go faster. If you go too fast, it'll spin all over. So what I'll do is I'll kind of watch it, and then once I see the first one going, I'll add like maybe a half cup at a time, and so it mixes evenly. And then you also want to watch if it dries out a little bit as it starts breaking apart. Just add a little bit of water back into it, and then it'll bring it back into the dough. But don't add just be real careful. All it needs is just a little bit of water. Okay? I screw with that old cars cheap people do too. I like my motorcycle, man. Okay, so I did drive my car today, and I even brought a umbrella. I still got soaked. Okay, so I wish you could kind of see this. Maybe I can move this. Let me try to move this a little bit so you can see the inside. I hope that I don't know if you're gonna get it. All right, so okay, so see it's still pretty wet. So now I'm about to add about like a half a cup to this, and then I'll let it go again. You have a motorcycle? What kind? You know what I have. Are you just making conversation so other people can ask it? So anyone have any questions up to this point? So, no? Is this even entertaining for you? At least you can go back and reference it. I did do a YouTube video, but it was entirely too long. I broke it in 2 parts. Never thought I'd see Brian sort of making pizza on Facebook, but here we are. Yep, there you go. So I wish you could see this part. Yeah. Can you see that good? I'm having a hard time seeing it. Yes. Please, friend, man. No, do not. Don't do that. Okay, so now I'm ready to add a little bit more. So this, like I said, this process, so you need patience, right? Number 1 when you're making this. You need patience, and then lastly, you need love. Right? You gotta enjoy cooking, because the end result's worth it. Never have to cook this. This is special. And don't rush the whole process. If you break it apart, it isn't that bad. Like break up the while you're cooking it, and maybe listen to a podcast. I don't know. That's good stuff, man. So what I'll do is basically we're gonna finish this up. We'll roll out the dough. I'll throw it in the fridge, and then tomorrow we'll do the last. There will be maybe 2 more videos, real quick though. This one's probably the longest, but this is the most important. If you don't sacrifice your time and do this right, you're not gonna be satisfied with the results. So it's spread across 2 days. So the setups, a little bit more time consuming, but like I said, if you're gonna do it, you might as well make 3 pizzas so you can have leftovers. And you could freeze this. This I noticed, this actually tastes better reheated. The taste improves, believe it or not. So here, maybe I want you to see this part. It's kind of starting to break apart like this. You see how it's breaking apart? Yeah. So if that happens, just add a little bit more water, okay? As you're adding the dough in. Sometimes it'll pick it back up, but if it starts drying out, like if you're talking a lot like me, it might lose some of its moisture. So the recipe says use between 2.5 to 3 cups. I always use all 3 cups. I probably don't have to because I always seem to have more dough. When I roll it out, you'll see. But what I do is I'll just, by the time I add all the rest of this flour, my sister took cooking lessons, so she could probably give. Nicholas says, replying to Nicholas, says your. Is that mixer? We can't see your handsome face. I'll show it. Alright, sorry. I'm still here. I know you guys got scared, right? I'm still here. I was trying to move the camera, okay? So, alright. So, let me add the last stuff. So, hopefully I didn't lose too many people. Huh? So I was trying to move it up and down. It's really touchy. So I'm probably going to add a little bit more water. That's a nasty question. It is. It is, man. Trump. So here, mine's drying out a little bit. I'm just going to add, I'm not even going to add this. I'm just going to add a very little bit so it picks up. and I get the dough dough consistency that I want. A lot of it's just gonna be, oh, hi Erica. Yay, that's a nasty question. Yeah, see, it needs more. I probably could have avoided not putting in the rest of that that flour. So let's just hurry this up so I can roll this dough out. 'Cause it is breaking up. Let me wash my hands real quick. Fake flour. No, it's not. I've been touching that phone, man. While I'm cooking, I'm touching that phone. Yeah, see, it's kind of drying out some. So what I'll do is I'll kind of mash it a little bit together. If it's not picking it up right, and I'll put a little bit on here. Like I said, you probably only need 2.5. You can try to get away with it. But I'm a little I know when cooking, so. Can you take your shirt off? I could. I'm fat, dude. You wouldn't like what you see. Aren't you using OBS? Because I'm on my phone. And when I would have had to set up my laptop somewhere. See, this now I think I almost added too much water to it. Now that I turned it around, right? So I put some flour here on the put the flour here. So if it's too wet when I take it out, I can dry it up a little bit. But we're pretty close. We're pretty close to this being done, and we'll roll it out a little bit on the countertop, and then we'll put it in a Ziploc bag and put it in the fridge and let that set for tomorrow. I think it's good. I think that's good. So see, that's actually pretty nice. It's not even as wet as I thought. So now what I usually do at this point, I'll just roll it out and fold it for about 5 minutes. Alexa, set timer for 5 minutes. Jimmy Hong joined. What he says, what happened? What do you mean what happened? Oh, because I accidentally ended it. That's what she said. When I was trying to move the camera, I stopped the video. Hopefully it resumed. That's what she said. Did Alexa respond or no? I don't remember. Alexa, how many minutes left on the timer?
There are no timers set.
Set timer for 4 minutes. So you're just gonna fold this for about 5 minutes. Back now. What's back now? That's a nasty comment. Do you have any other questions? Jim, have you never tried making pizza, or you just order it since you're already you're still up in Chicago? No? What's the future of AA looking like? Not good, Paul. Just order it. How much does a pizza cost nowadays? Like a large deep dish. I'll buy pizza from Mariano's on occasion. Huh. What kind of water do you use in your dough? I just use the water from the sink. Closer Geno's or Lewis. Or Luz. Oh. I think he lives in... You live in Elgin? Where do you live, Jim? This is... No, you're asking if this is closer to Geno's? this pizza is? Oh, just cheese 20. Joliet. James moved to the most racist part of Texas. We'll let you know later when we order one to go from... Oh yeah, you guys might get Malnati's there. Yeah. You need to see if you can figure out how they make their dough. This is Gino's. Because of the cornmeal. Because they have like a cornmeal based crust. So, what's up, Mike? So, this is pretty much done. So let me show you what I do next. I'll take a Ziploc bag. And I'll just spray so it doesn't stick. And then throw this in here. And this goes in the fridge for overnight. And then what I'll do is this will actually expand in the fridge. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it out. We're gonna take it out sometime tomorrow, and we'll roll it out. Actually, before we roll it out, we'll let it rise. So we'll take it out. We'll throw it in something like this pan, this like bowl pan. We'll let it rise again. Roll it out, put it in a pan, let it rise again, and butter it, and then put everything else in there and then cook it. So I think the curing of the yeast of it and it growing brings out the flavor of the dough. So that's it. That's this part. Bedford is named after. Thought you had one ready to keep. No, this is this. If I showed you the finished product already, then you'd miss all the other steps. There's more steps. Your favorite saying, let it rise. So what I'll do is tomorrow I'll either do the last process, because I don't think you need to see me taking it out, putting it in a bowl, and then throwing it in the. I usually throw it in the oven so it gets the humidity to rise again. So, yeah, you can have one there, and we don't have any good pizza here, and the ones that we have aren't as good. So, I had to resort to this. So that's why I said I make 3 at a time, so I have enough for leftovers, and I showed the pans earlier. So, that's it. It tastes better when you put the work. That's true, it does. OBS. What about OBS? You keep asking. Will I do it again with OBS? Can I have some this time? I don't know. You gotta ask your wife. Thanks for the throw. Sure. Yeah, I might do. I'll have to figure out tomorrow what I want to do. So yeah. But what I'm gonna do when I'm done with this, I'm just gonna finish the last dough. Basically, the process I just did here. The last 2 doughs, throw them in so they're just sitter. What wife are? Yeah. Tiger team. Or Tiger team. Oh my God, they say that at work. I hate it. All right. All right. Well, I'm gonna sign out. Unless you guys got anything else. Any other questions? Remember, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. What are other ones? Periscope. Because I never post on any of those. So if you follow me, you're never going to see anything. This is probably the only thing I post in a long time. Alright, laters! No problem. I'll do another one. I need to see what I want to focus on. Got your window. I'm already following you. You are right. Alright, bye.